Professor Kedibone Phago is now joining us. Prof, thank you so much for your time and a very good afternoon to you. So we're seeing that delegation of the top brass and cabinet, as well as the province's premier and some of those MECs, and most importantly, the mayors that are running many of these municipalities within the Northwest, talking about that service delivery strategy plan that they are trying to put together in order to ensure that the province is now well run. In your view, what would that strategy look like for the communities of the Northwest?
Katlaho, thank you and good afternoon to you and to the listeners. Look, Katlaho, I think we should be very frustrated as South African in the manner that the president is, projecting himself in our service delivery challenges as a country. It is absolutely not inspiring at all, and not in any way, for a president to be talking in this manner. He is the head of the national executive, he's the head of government, he's the head of the republic. So in the way he is engaging our mayors, the MECs, the provincial government, the premier, I really am not inspired as a citizen, because I think he can do better. He commands a lot of powers with him, with the institutions that should be supporting him in really keeping our leaders, our administrators, the provincial, in the provincial government and in local government to account. So he is really failing in that basic role as a president, to just make sure that our institutions are functioning. So he's not going to come up with any strategy. He does not need a strategy at this point in time, because we have seen so many reports coming out and showing us how municipalities are not performing, how the provincial governments throughout the country are not performing. And there are reports every year that are coming out from forensics, from the Auditor General. We are paying for these services, but we are not seeing him directly intervening, using his powers. He spoke about cooperative governance. We do have the law that regulates cooperative governance and intergovernmental relations in South Africa, including from a financial point of view. I think he should have been very forthright if he was serious about this visit. I think he actually even indicated that this is his 7th visit to the provincial governments currently. But he does not tell us what these interventions for the 6th visits that he did, what are they bringing? So it's just a talk shop. He's just showing his face and trying to probably even campaign for the elections, local government elections next year. I really don't think this is any way meaningful to the people of Northwest.
And what do you think are some of those governance challenges, mainly that are faced in the Northwest? Is it a lack of capacity, a lack of efficiency? Because the president seems to place it on accountability.
They are complex, and because we have allowed these governance problems to take root, and for the longest time we have not really intervened properly. So if you've got corruption that is taking too long in any system, it will, as we have seen in our case in Northwest, if you talk about local government, we do not have capacity. So municipalities, in many cases, in fact, if you look at Ditsobotla, for example, and if you want to ask them how many engineers do they have, how many financial specialists do they have to do their books, and so on and so forth, you will realize that there is absolutely no capacity whatsoever for our municipalities to do those, to run those basic services. So when he says to us that there is no reason for citizens not to have water, it's just smoke screen. for lack of better word, because he knows those municipalities have made it difficult for professionals to function. So he, instead of him providing very clear directives and say, this is what we are going to do to restore governance in our local government, he tells us people need to do to get water. It does not help, because and those people he's talking to know that this was just a visit. We had a lunch, we met the president, we are happy. And it is the citizens, it is the residents that are going to continue to bear the brunt of this lack of service delivery.
You speak about this possibly just being for campaigning for the next local government elections. And in fact, the president was saying that because we are going to the next elections next year, political parties need to deploy candidates who are capable and have the competency to run local government, and many parties will admit that we are not there yet. Is this an admission by the president to say that those that have been placed from the ANC to run some of these municipalities are not competent at all?
Indeed, and I don't think this is the first admission. They have always admitted for quite some time now that many of their cadre deployees in government across the board, local, provincial, and even national, have been put there with no necessary skills for many years. And this has now become a norm and a feature. So the organization, the ANC, at this particular point in time, it's even really struggling to renew itself, because it has really been taken over by many people who lack skills, basic governance, basic administration, or any meaningful skill that they can use to run any successful institution. So they are in trouble because citizens are asking difficult questions. They don't have a way of showing up and say we are capable of actually demonstrating our capability to provide basic services. So this is just a campaign for the elections next year to show to the South Africans as if there's any meaningful intervention that will be taking place. But we know there's nothing we are going to get, because the kind of problems, Katlaho, we have as a country are not complicated, they are not sophisticated. They have just over-politicized our governance and also made sure that corruption is rooted across the board, and that our public institutions that are supposed to be protecting the citizens are dysfunctional. You talk about the police, you talk about the NPA, so nobody's going to be kept to account if those institutions are unable to do their work. So the president should be focusing on strengthening those institutions so that when he speaks to the leadership in his organization, they get the message. But at this point in time, they know that there is no capable institution in South Africa under his administration that will take them to task. So again, it's not an inspiring visit or conversation with people of Northwest or South African at large.
Prof, you speak about our problems not being complicated or sophisticated as a country. How much of these problems with regards to the factional battles and the politics of the Northwest influence the service delivery in that area?
They do in a very great extent. If you go if you go to our towns and cities in Northwest, many have collapsed. And when I say collapsed, it's not an exaggeration or an overstatement. It's a reality of what we are facing. And this is not an issue that started in 2025, or it has been there for the longest time. So the president, by and large, is admitting that he has failed to intervene in our provincial government. He has failed. I mean, he spoke about how the Ditsobotla municipality has been put on under administration 9 times. What does that say to him as the president, going back for the 3rd time, putting a government institution under administration? It tells you that he has been very indecisive. and unable to demonstrate his leadership capability when we need it the most. Because at the end of the day, the buck should stop with the president. He is the not just the president of the ANC, but he's the head of the cabinet, the national executive, and the republic. So he really wields a lot of powers, and if he wants to use them, he should be able to keep his aiders to account, so that when he comes and he does these visits, they are really meaningful, and that people and the citizens can engage him in other complex areas. But when we don't get basic municipal services where municipalities are functioning, that the mayor are able to make sure that there are no potholes, that the traffic lights are working, what else can we really expect the president to do if those basic aspects are not in place?
All right, Prof. Phago, thank you so much for your time in joining us this afternoon. That was Professor Kedibone Phago, a political analyst at the Northwest University, just speaking to us on the back of the president's visit in the Northwest.